I'm Katie Winkelstein-Duveneck, and I'm in the English department. I'm a doctoral lecturer. And yes, I've been here as an adjunct since 2017, but this is my first semester as a full-time doctoral lecturer. Super excited. It's been my experience, as I'm sure a lot of you have also experienced, that belonging precedes engagement. You can't really have engagement without belonging. And so there's so many things that affect students' sense of belonging, like feeling like they're not a good writer because of negative past experiences, feeling like they're pretending or they're an imposter or they have a secret. Maybe they have a non-traditional journey to college. Maybe they went to college and they came back, didn't work out, and they came back. And maybe they feel a sense of shame, unfortunately, happens, or letting people down, or they're just a little bit older. Students might be 23 and they feel like they're the only one who isn't 18. That's not the case, but oftentimes people will feel like that. Have many things, having spent time in an institution, having been incarcerated or hospitalized, or, having been homeless. So many things can affect students' sense of belonging in the classroom. And so I think one thing that's important to me is normalizing different journeys to and through college. So it's easy for students to assume that it's been easy street for everybody else and that everybody else is 18 and fresh out of high school. So just kind of normalizing that and talking about how, like, people are coming here from different places. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is something that I do on the first day of every semester, regardless of what class I'm teaching. And it's like a little mini poll. And so I'm going to share my screen. And it's about writing process. So I have a couple of different polls on writing process, but this is the one that I want to talk about. Can everybody see this? Okay, cool. So I chose the aspen tree because it's a clonal organism. It's both one and it's many. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So this is what I ask everybody on the first day of class. So I say, let's say there are 5 stages of an assignment, right? Facing the assignment, meaning, so I write this, on the board, like looking at the assignment, which is challenging for some people, right? Because it can be anxiety provoking, and people can, like, I used to be a tutor, and I remember asking students, what's your assignment? And a lot of times they would say, they didn't really give me an assignment, because sometimes it's hard to sit down and look at it. Maybe you need somebody next to you to do that. Okay, starting the assignment, doing the assignment, like doing the actual work of sitting down and doing it, finishing it, and turning it in. Okay, so let's say those are the 5 stages. This is my poll. And if all of you would like to partake in this poll, please do. And you can use your hand raising feature, or you can just raise your physical hand, whatever you want to do. And then look around and see, there's going to be other people who are like you. So here's, all right. So which one do you find the most challenging? Facing the assignment? I am raising my hand for this one because I was a big avoider in college. So that's me. And let's see, how about beginning the assignment? That's a tough one too, guys. What about doing it, sitting down and just putting yourself in front of your computer and doing it? Okay, what about finishing it? Finishing is a big one, okay. What about turning it in? This is also a big one. Anybody have trouble with this one? Letting it go. So this one is interesting too. I think 1 in 5, oftentimes, if you struggle with this, and this is what I say to my students too, if you struggle with this, often it feels like you're not supposed to, and you're supposed to be able to do this by yourself. And if you can't do that by yourself, there's something wrong with you. In reality, everybody has a challenge. Everybody gets stuck somewhere, right? The key is knowing what helps you, right? What stage is challenging for you? And then what do you do to make it easier? What supports you? So then we have that conversation in class. So everybody, puts up their hands, they look around, they're like, oh, okay, some people like me, some people different. And then what do you use? Friends, family, tutoring, other strategies, what works for you? And starting to think about that, I think, is kind of like the most important thing, because as far as, especially with 1 in 5, yeah, it's easy to assume that you should be able to do it, but like with turning it in, I remember having a student, I'm sure this has happened to all of you in some form, and she had something due and it was overdue, and she said, I have some notes I can show you, but I haven't really started it yet. I was like, okay, show me your notes. She showed me her notes, and I was like, put a period at the end of that and turn it in, because you're done. but it's hard to know that you're done, especially if you're a perfectionist, you have trouble letting it go. Sometimes you need somebody to help you do that. That can make the difference between passing the class and not passing the class. Honestly, I think it can make the difference between finishing college and not finishing college sometimes, because knowing the supports, I think is really important. And then here's some of the benefits that I found of this mini polling. Students see they're not alone, they're not the only one. And then to see your process as your process and contextualize it as your process rather than as a failure to do an imaginary perfect process that you imagine you should have. And then to challenge the expectation that you're supposed to be able to do these things without any support. And getting to know your writing process better is, to me, one of the biggest goals of maybe any writing class, but certainly of English 120. And then benefits continued. Everyone's process is unique, yeah, but we have things in common. And then this kind of experience you have in the classroom of collectively getting to know our individual processes and building those collegial relationships, also one of the main goals of any class. And of course, it increases your sense of belonging then, which then increases engagement.